He chose the wrong victim. My ultimate revenge. Have you ever had your world turned upside down by someone you barely knew? Imagine celebrating your birthday, only to wake up with no memory of the night before and a sinking feeling that something terrible happened. That's exactly what happened to me, and this is the story of how it all began. Welcome to the Payback Vault, where revenge stories come to life. My name is Daniel, and I just turned 29. To celebrate, my friends decided to take me out for a night on the town. We started with dinner at our favorite spot, laughter echoing as we reminisced about old times. To Daniel, my best friend Mike toasted, raising his glass high. May this year be your best yet. After dinner, someone suggested checking out a new bar downtown. It's supposed to be the hottest spot in the city, Mike said with a grin. Feeling adventurous, I agreed. Why not? It's my birthday, after all. The bar was alive with energy. Neon lights painted the walls in vibrant hues of red and blue, and the bass from the music made the floor pulse beneath our feet. The air was thick with the scent of cologne, perfume, and excitement. We squeezed our way to the bar, ordering a round of drinks. As the night wore on, I found myself chatting with a charismatic man named Aiden. He had sharp features, piercing green eyes, and a smile that could charm anyone. "Happy birthday," he said smoothly, handing me a drink. "First one's on me." "Thanks," I replied, clinking my glass against his. We talked about everything and nothing: work, travel, favorite bands. His stories were captivating, and I found myself drawn in. But as I sipped my drink, a fog began to settle over me. The room blurred, sounds became muffled, and my limbs felt heavy. "You okay?" Aiden asked, his voice sounding distant. I don't feel so good," I mumbled. "Maybe you need some fresh air," he suggested, guiding me toward the exit. That's the last thing I remember. I woke up the next morning in an unfamiliar apartment. Sunlight streamed through the blinds, casting striped shadows across a minimalist room. Panic surged through me. Where was I? My head throbbed, and my mouth felt like sandpaper. Just then, Aiden walked in, carrying 2 cups of coffee. "Morning, sleepyhead?" he said casually. "What happened? Where am I?" I demanded, sitting up too quickly and causing the room to spin. "You had a bit too much to drink," he replied with a shrug. "I brought you back here to crash." I checked my pockets, wallet, phone, keys, all there. "I need to go," I said tersely. "At least have some coffee," he offered. "I said I need to go," I repeated, edging toward the door. "Suit yourself," he said, a sly smile playing on his lips. I bolted out of there, the cool morning air hitting my face as I stumbled onto the street. My mind raced. Something felt off. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was missing pieces of the puzzle. When I got home, my girlfriend Emily was pacing the living room. "Daniel, where have you been? I've been worried sick," she exclaimed. I don't know," I admitted, sinking onto the couch. "I think I was drugged." Her eyes widened in alarm. "What? By who?" "A guy named Aiden. I met him at the bar last night." She sat beside me, concern etched on her face. "We need to go to the hospital, now." At the hospital, tests confirmed what I feared. "You've got traces of a sedative in your system," the doctor informed me. "Do you recall anything unusual?" "Just that I blacked out after a drink," I replied. Emily squeezed my hand. "We should report this to the police." I hesitated. What if they don't believe me? These cases are hard to prove. "Daniel, you were assaulted. You can't let him get away with this." Over the next few days, I tried to return to normalcy, but the incident haunted me. Then, I started receiving texts from Aiden. "Hey, just checking in. How are you feeling? Let's hang out again soon." Each message made my skin crawl. It was as if he was taunting me, or worse, trying to gauge how much I remembered. One night, I confided in Mike. "I can't shake this feeling," I told him. "I need to do something." "Then let's make sure he doesn't do this to anyone else," Mike said firmly. We decided to return to the bar where I met Aiden. The neon lights and pulsating music felt ominous this time. We approached the manager, explaining the situation and asking for security footage. "I'm sorry, but unless the police request it, I can't help you," he said, avoiding eye contact. Frustrated, we left. "Looks like we'll have to handle this ourselves," Mike muttered. "How?" I asked. "Expose him." An idea sparked. If we can't get the footage, maybe we can find others he's targeted. I posted anonymously on local forums and social media groups, describing my experience without naming myself. Within hours, messages flooded in. Several people recounted similar stories involving a man matching Aiden's description. One message stood out. He did the same thing to me. I was too scared to come forward. I reached out privately. "We need to stop him," I typed. "Agreed," came the reply. "But how?" Together, we formed a small group of survivors. We shared our stories, supporting one another, and planning our next steps. But just as we were gathering momentum, something happened that changed everything. What would you do if you were in my situation? The master plan and execution. Just as our group of survivors was gaining momentum, I received a chilling message that changed everything. "Stop digging or you'll regret it," the anonymous text read. My heart skipped a beat. Was Aiden onto us? I showed the message to Mike and the others. "This means he's feeling the heat," Mike said, attempting to lighten the mood. "But we need to be cautious." We realized we couldn't do this alone. It was time to bring in someone who could help us navigate this dangerous path. That's when we decided to contact Sarah Thompson, a local investigative journalist known for exposing corruption and championing justice. We met Sarah at a quiet cafe downtown. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, and soft jazz played in the background, providing a calm contrast to our tense situation. "Thank you for meeting us," I began, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. "We have a story that needs to be told." As we shared our experiences, Sarah listened intently, her eyes reflecting both empathy and determination. "This is serious," she said, jotting down notes. "If what you're saying is true, we need to act quickly." "We have hospital records, testimonies, even threatening messages," Emily added, showing Sarah the anonymous text I'd received. Sarah leaned back, deep in thought. "I'll start digging into Aiden's background. In the meantime, you all need to stay vigilant. He might escalate if he feels cornered." Over the next few days, Sarah uncovered startling information. Aiden wasn't just a charismatic CEO. He had a history of misconduct that had been swept under the rug. There were whispers of previous victims who had been paid off, lawsuits that mysteriously disappeared, and connections to influential figures who helped keep his reputation spotless. Feeling a surge of purpose, I decided to gather more concrete evidence. I remembered the bar where it all started and the manager who refused to help. Maybe there was another way to get the footage. Late one evening, Mike and I returned to the bar. The neon lights flickered, casting eerie shadows on the damp pavement. We approached one of the bartenders as his shift was ending. "Excuse me," I began cautiously. "We need your help. It's about Aiden." The bartender stiffened. "I don't want any trouble." "Please," Mike urged. "He hurt us, and he could hurt others." He glanced around before nodding subtly. "Meet me behind the alley in 10 minutes." Waiting in the dimly lit alley, the sounds of the city seemed distant. The bartender emerged, handing us a small flash drive. "This is the security footage from that night," he whispered. "I can't keep quiet anymore." "Thank you," I said sincerely. "You might have just saved lives." Back home, we gathered around my laptop. The video showed Aiden casually slipping something into my drink when I turned to greet a friend. The evidence was irrefutable. "This is it," Emily said, her eyes welling up. "We can stop him." We forwarded the footage to Sarah. "This is the smoking gun," she replied excitedly. "I'm going to run the story first thing in the morning." Twist, karma, and reflection. The next day, headlines blazed across news outlets. Prominent CEO exposed in drugging scandal. The article detailed Aiden's predatory behavior, supported by our testimonies and the damning video evidence. The fallout was immediate. Social media erupted with outrage. Aiden's company stocks plummeted, investors withdrew support, and his polished image was tarnished beyond repair. But Aiden wasn't going down without a fight. He released a statement claiming the allegations were false, accusing us of orchestrating a smear campaign. He even suggested that I was a disgruntled ex-employee seeking revenge. For a moment, doubt crept in. What if people believe him? I wondered aloud. "They won't," Emily reassured me. "The truth is on our side." More victims began to come forward, their courage bolstered by our actions. Each new testimony added weight to the mounting evidence against Aiden. A week later, authorities arrested Aiden on multiple charges, including assault and administering a noxious substance. Watching the news footage of him being led away in handcuffs brought a sense of closure I'd been longing for. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. One approached me, microphone in hand. "Do you have any comment on today's events?" I took a deep breath. "I just want to say to anyone who's been hurt, you're not alone. Stand up, speak out, and don't let fear silence you." In the days that followed, life began to regain a sense of normalcy. Our group of survivors stayed in touch, supporting each other through the healing process. One evening, as Emily and I sat on the balcony watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and pink, she turned to me. "I'm proud of you," she said softly. I smiled. "I couldn't have done it without you and everyone else." Reflecting on the journey, I realized that while revenge had initially driven me, it was justice and the desire to protect others that truly mattered. Sometimes, the darkest experiences lead us to become the light for others. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more epic revenge stories from the Payback Vault.